What's up, everybody? We are back once again. This is episode 26 of the Bluegrass Race Hub podcast. Tonight, we are joined by the championship Ford drivers from our Xfinity and our Cup Series. We have Adam Lancaster, driver of the number 17 Xfinity car. Cody Anderson is also joining us tonight as our special co-host. We've got GT Hawkins up to the top right in the number 14 of the Cup Series. We've got Jonathan Schwartz, driver of the number 95 Cup Series. Jonathan Atkins, driver of the number 57 Cup Series car. Keith Hackney, driver of the 69 Xfinity and Cup Series car. And the driver of the 01 and the 1, Scott Fritz, in Xfinity and Cup. Followed up with Radburn Shutters. You won't be able to see him. He is here, but he's not got a camera up at the moment. So Radburn is the driver of the number 3 car in the Xfinity Series. This is episode number 26. Let's get it going. All right, guys. So tonight we're here with the championship for we're missing David Farmer. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us tonight. And Healy also, he wasn't able to join us once again. So here we are with the championship 4 drivers that were able to make it. Adam Lancaster, how do you feel going into next week? Actually, this week, I should say, Tuesday night. How do you feel your chances coming into this Xfinity Series championship at Phoenix? This is your first Champ 4 run in the Xfinity?
Yeah, I believe so.
How do you feel going into next week, or this week, or rather Tuesday night? What's your game plan? What's your strategy? Without giving away your strategy, just give us a general idea, of what you're planning and what you feel like doing this week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our chances are as good as anyone's. Obviously it's a strong group of guys that are racing for the championship. Everybody that's in that group has shown speed all season long, and smart racers, fast racers. So, we'll just have to see how the race plays out. I expect to have some long runs, and so I think long run speed will be important. We'll see what happens. Everybody's, you feel pretty confident in having speed throughout the season and having good races here and there. But honestly, you really don't know until you show up and line up and see how the race unfolds. I think, one good thing for everybody involved is, there's not as big of a field. So if you do have an issue or get mired back in traffic, then there's not necessarily as far to go to get back to the front and kind of get back in contention. So, I feel pretty good about it, like I said, but you really don't know until you show up on Tuesday night and line up and see where you stack up.
So, we have a couple of guys that ran with us last season that are in here as well. We've got Scott Fritz. He's been with us since season 1. And Radburn was with us last season also. But Keith, you're technically a rookie to the Xfinity Series. So you're the one guy that's not ran in the Xfinity Series before this season. How do you feel about that, being a rookie and making it into the Champ 4 already in your first season in Xfinity?
I mean, I don't know. Like that's kind of what I was shooting for at the beginning of the season. I thought it was going to be just a slow start, moving up from the trucks and stuff like that. But we did the same thing in the trucks, a little bit more dominant in the trucks, a lot more competition up in the upper classes and stuff. So, but we still held speed, and we had some mishaps in the middle of the season here and there. And I feel we probably could have got us some better finishes at certain points of the season, and maybe a win or two got kind of out from under our fingertips there during the season as well. But we'll take it. Like Adam said, I mean, 4 fast guys is what you want in the Final 4, and I think everybody has different driving styles at that, and so it's definitely just going to be just a waiting game. I don't feel you need to really push it early. I mean, we're going to get cautions, maybe not as many, just because of the field being smaller, but it's it's anybody's game. So we'll just see how it unfolds, and I guess may the best man win.
Absolutely. You've got some stiff competition going into this Tuesday night. One of those competitors that wasn't able to get in there was James Silvers. And I don't know if you guys saw the power rankings or not, but Silvers, of course, was tied with Radburn for the number one spot in the power rankings based on the metrics that we used. We used 5 points for race wins, 3 points for top fives, 2 points for top tens, and a single point for poles. Radburn, are you there, bud? Are you able to come in for a minute and talk to us? I guess he's still not there. So we'll switch gears. We'll go ahead and bring in GT, and we'll talk to GT about his thoughts on this Wednesday night Cup Series. You're a rookie, along with Adkins. You both first time running with us. How do you guys feel going into this Wednesday night? We'll start with GT.
I feel like it's a completely different race. Having a full length race, 100% fuel. It's
yep.
completely different than anything we've already ran. So it's really just about trying to prepare for what we know can happen, and then try to have contingency plans for the unknown there. Because a little bit of practice I did today is it seemed like there was a lot of fall off, and you can go a lot of laps on 100% fuel. So it's
tire management is a big thing.
Lot of different strategies.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, definitely managing the tires. I don't know, the numbers seem a little it seem weird. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen, because I feel like that everything is that we've ran all season is, you might as well just kind of throw it out the window, because it's completely different. I mean, and that's what's so unique about the way that we do this series, and we have everything ran the way it is. Half 50% everything prior to the championship race, but when we get to that, money race is what you might as well say. It's for all the money and more. That's where things change. And we're going to see who can really bring out their skills and be the top guy and be the guy that comes out on top and wins championship. Adkins, what are your thoughts going into Wednesday night? How do you feel?
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be completely different, and it's a test of endurance for a lot of people. I don't typically sit in this chair for 4 hours at a time. We did 24 hours or something, but it's it's going to be a long race, and I hope it comes down to some tire management and green flag runs, and we can spread it out and race amongst the four of us.
It should, based on previous races.
All four guys are really fast, and then there's a lot of guys that aren't in the top four that are fast that could weigh in on the race finish. So
100%.
Just get out there and try to manage my own thing and not screw up.
Well, let's hear from our other two drivers, Scott Fritz and Jonathan Schwartz. You guys are both, Scott, you run both Xfinity and Cup, and you're in the Final Four for the Xfinity Series. You managed to pull yourself from, I think, 14th or 13th in the point standings all the way to the Final Four by winning at Homestead a couple weeks ago. Schwartz pointed out the fact that he started up there pretty high in the point standings coming in, and then you're here in the Final Four. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel pretty good. I think we've definitely been peaking at the right time. We've won 2 races in the playoffs to kind of when we pretty much had to be able to move on. So we feel pretty good. I think definitely, like me and Adam, maybe have just a little bit of advantage because we ran that race before last season. And I know we were really good there on the long run last season. We finished second, so going in with some confidence. And I mean, we're the 4 best guys this season, so
yeah,
it's anyone's race. But go out in there and just see if we can get it done.
Schwartz, what about you, man? You're coming in. This is not your first time. This is your second time doing this. You've ran this race before as well. You've been here. You struggled in the first one in season 3. Take us back to your thoughts on that, and then what you learned from that experience to this season with this car. Obviously, that was a Gen 6 car when you were there before. So how do you feel with it being the next gen car now?
Yeah, back then it wasn't only the Gen 6 car, but it was actually, I think, with the finish line on the backstretch of what it
Yes,
is
totally
now.
different
So
track too.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, the whole approach to restart zones there was very different. So figuring out how to cut down through that dog leg throughout a lot of these restarts is going to be crucial just for making up track position. If we're getting a short run, being able to figure out what line is going to be important to take. But yeah, I mean, more than anything, if we get one of those long runs to end the race, just being able to manage tires well. I mean, it's weird because you think like getting good exits are really important for a lot of these corners, but some of them are so flat that I feel like it's almost important to get push on the entry for some, and then exits are important for others. So, but yeah, I'd say not beating yourself is gonna be really important.
Yeah, very important. I feel like that's something that you really learned with that Gen 6 car with the other configuration was you kind of overdrove the car early, I feel like, and you were, kind of burnt your tires up, which allowed Alex Huffman to eventually pull out and grab that only win he had for that season. It was the championship race, which made him the season 3 champion. So I feel like you probably have some knowledge that you can use from that to transfer over. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was hoping that we could have like a repeat of head-to-head between me and Huffman, but I mean, it was still really fun. He almost had a really good shot last week, but anyways, I'm still super happy to even be in this position. I mean, that's what you're always fighting for throughout the whole season, just to give yourself a chance. So, I mean, definitely respect all the drivers that have made it here, and yeah, I mean, this is definitely not one of the easier tracks for sure. I feel like a lot of those mile and a halfs, it's like it's tire management isn't as important. It's just really getting into like a rhythm and finding the line. Here, it's like you're having to adapt every single lap, and it's hard to really get comfortable. So, yeah, fatigue's definitely playing a factor, but not even because of the endurance, just because of the tire wear. So.
Yes, absolutely. So looking at the power rankings, GT has 75, you have 73. You're only 2 points out from, technically being that number one guy based on the power ranking metrics. Does that give you a little bit of confidence going in? I mean, we've seen, GT's got 4 wins on the season, but you've got 11 top 5s and 14 top 10s compared to 10 and 12 respectively. Does that give you confidence?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence that I have a good shot at a top 10. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna need a bit more than that. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy that I was able to be pretty consistent throughout the whole season, but I feel like I'll have to bring another step this week. So, um, definitely gonna work really hard throughout the whole week, just trying to get that practice in, finding any few hundredths I can over the run. But yeah, I was even looking at some stats just throughout like the rest of the season earlier in the season for similar tracks. I think like New Hampshire is pretty flat like Phoenix, and I was looking at where Farmer, Atkins, Hawkins, and me all finished, and Hawkins and we finished first and second that race. So I mean, looking at Gateway's also kind of similar in the fact that it's pretty flat, and Adkins and Hawkins they finished first and third. So I mean, Farmer, I think he's gonna be the underdog here. I think that he's definitely gonna be pretty strong. He's definitely proven himself to be top 4, but I think it's probably gonna be close between me, Hawkins, and Adkins. So exciting to see how that goes out.
Oh, well, if you look at the power rankings, Farmer's sitting back in ninth place with 39 total power points. You've got Huffman, who was ranked 3rd on the power rankings. Holder ranked 4th. Atkins is 5th. Keith, you've only ran 18 of the 20 races, and you're still sitting in 6th in the power rankings. Mikey Neal was 7th. Frankie was 8th. And Frankie's only ran 12 races and is sitting in 8th. So I feel like that's speaks speaks volumes as to consistency, for these guys that are in the Final Four.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I think
go ahead.
I was just I was just going to say that. I mean, that just reminds you that while you're going to be focused on that championship, that's not to say that any of these guys that aren't fighting aren't going to go for the win. So, I mean, you really got to focus on managing your car. And even if you're battling with someone outside the championship, I mean, you got to respect them as well. So, there's going to be a lot of times you have to decide when you're going to fight, when you're going to give, because it may put you further back than you want, but you got to remember what battles are important. So, but yeah, I think that a lot of these guys, 6th or 7th, Mikey and Barossa, I think that they'll definitely be showing some really good pace at Phoenix, probably top 5. So hoping to see how they go as well.
Well, you know that they're wanting to come out here and grab a win just as they've got something to prove, you know. Even though they're not in the championship forward, they're still going to try to prove, hey, I'm good enough to win this race and I should have been here. So that's what you got to look out for. GT, you're the number 1 guy on the power rankings. How does that make you feel, man?
I mean, I think I got hot at the right time more than anything else was probably the biggest reflection of that. It doesn't mean a whole lot. It's winning one given race is really ultimately what this comes down to in this format. So it's just the biggest thing for me is, or the biggest takeaway is that it's a completely different race. I mean, there's so many opportunities for, just you make a mistake coming down pit road, we're going to be pitting more, like things like that, and probably more restarts. There's another stage that's just throws a whole different dynamic into it. So I don't know that you can really look at a lot of the past stats to predict this one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Is it's a totally different ball game coming into Tuesday and Wednesday night, respectively. So let's talk Xfinity. So Martinsville, you guys had a pretty good run there, Adam. How do you feel? Like you guys, led the last few laps. What was it, like 50 or 60 laps you led at the end of the race to pull out the win? We had a little controversy after the race. Give us your take on that race and how it felt to win, and your thoughts on the controversy afterwards.
I mean, it was obviously good to win. That put us in the championship 4. I think GT's. I echo his comments there. The Phoenix has won one race, so it doesn't really matter what all you've done or what the stats say, because you're just like I said, it's one race and one mistake or accident or there's 1,000 different things that can happen. So I think the stats say whether you should be there or not, but as far as predicting what's going to happen in that race, it's like I said, it's a one-off deal. And as far as Martinsville goes, is I don't keep up with much of all that stuff. So what's the controversy you're talking about?
After the race, there were some comments made from Alex Penn and Justin Ray regarding you and Fritz when you took the outside and Fritz was on the inside. They're basically saying that Fritz held up the inside line, which caused Radburn to get the penalty that put him to the back. Which, I mean, eventually he's still in it, so it didn't really. It didn't really hurt him. But it they were saying basically that Fritz was back in that lineup. Fritz, you want to weigh in on this for a minute too, after Adam, and give us your thoughts?
I'll just. I guess, look, there's high tension. We race for 20 some weeks or 18 weeks or whatever, how many, it's a lot of
21. Yeah.
A lot of races, 21 weeks that we run all leading up to one race. And so people are going to be frustrated or disappointed, or, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at things. And, Radburn had us covered. So, I'll say that up front. Radburn had us covered. I spent two runs trying to chase him down, and I'd catch him a little bit, and he'd pull away a little bit. And I don't know if he was toying with us or if we were, just trading lap times back and forth. But at any rate, I've said already, that last restart, I believe it was the last restart, but the restart you're talking about, I just didn't want Radburn behind me as far as my input on it. And it wouldn't have mattered who it was, whether it was Scott or anybody else. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. that if I could have put a car between Radburn and myself to where he couldn't go exactly when I went, then that's what I was going to try to do, because I knew Radburn was fast, and I'd stayed out on old tires, feeling like that was my only shot to try to win that race, knowing that I had to win the race to make the Final Four. So that wasn't anything between Scott and I or anything like that. It was just a strategy on my part to say I'm going to start up top, which is it's not really a big deal. That happens all the time. A guy picks the top or the bottom or whatnot.
Yes.
So I was on old tires. Scott was on 2 tires, I believe, and didn't get a good start. So the door was open, obviously, for people, to look at that and think that it was strategic, but it absolutely wasn't. But again, there's no way of somebody in concrete saying that it was or wasn't, right? So people be left to think what they want to think. But I know from our side, there's been things that happened throughout the season that have been frustrating at times with other people, and kind of centered around stuff like that, and team orders and blocking and stuff like that, with guys that are a lap down running 22nd that are blocking the leaders for podium positions, and there has been stuff like that that's happened, but it would be pretty hypocritical to jump up and down and be upset about that, and then be playing games there on the restart. But look, at the end of the day, we won the race. We got in the Final Four. I'm proud of that. I don't feel like that any of that stuff that happened on that restart necessarily, was the reason that we won Martinsville. Obviously, there were some penalties and some things that happened that were up to each driver how they chose to handle themselves and where they chose to put their car, and there was consequences to that individually. I think Keith was a casualty of that.
Yep.
Some of those decisions and whatnot. So got I don't want to say lucky, because Keith deserves to be in the top in the Final Four, but given the circumstances of things that happened, he could have been knocked out because of some of those choices. So I'm happy with how it worked out, and like I said, there was no games and anything like that going on, other than what you would expect of a leader of a race that, again, you have the choice to take the top or bottom. And at Martinsville, I could roll the top. You can roll the top there for a lap or so. And I knew Radburn was the class of the field, and just did not want him starting on my bumper. I wanted him to have to go when the next guy went. So that's all it was.
And that's what we wanted to, I want to allow you all to have a chance to kind of extinguish any thoughts or expel any of those ideas that there was any collusion or anything like that. Fritz, you want to weigh in for a minute, or you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I can. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, Adam took the top and I was on the bottom, and I went when I saw him go. I mean, when a leader takes the top and you're a second guy on the inside, it's a lot harder to see the leader out your right side than it is your left side when you're watching for him to go. And I mean, I fired when Adam did, and just from watching the replay and stuff, it just looked like Radburn fired a little bit before me, and he was like a half car back. He just got a run and he took it, and Keith kind of got the short end of the stick on that, and that's just ended up playing out in Adam's favor. So
yeah. Keith, I mean, how did you feel whenever that? Because you were having a pretty solid run. You weren't having, your best night, but you were still having a decent run. You were running, top 4, top 5 all night. And then that happens. You'd already been involved in a couple of things prior to that had put you to the back again, and incurred a little damage. So that happens, and that's coming towards the end of the race. How bad did that hurt you, and how are you feeling at that point?
Man, I guess really the common thing we can say here is that it's short track racing, bro. Like, I mean, it's the same thing happened to myself in the trucks last season. I got called early, and I had to fight all race, and that's exactly what I tried to do there. I hated that it happened because we was all up front, and I thought it was over, but whenever I spun out, I didn't really hit anything like to an extent to like really hurt my car that much. So I just sort of just try to collect my composure, man, and then just try to finish the race, because I knew if I didn't, then I knew it was over. So, just one of them things, man. You just don't never fight or stop fighting till the end of the race, and you never know what'll happen with the point situation. Luckily, we got in, and that's really all I can say about that. And just really look forward to finishing this thing out.
So obviously, go ahead, Cody.
That's it. Sounds like we got Radburn back as well. So, Radburn, what was?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. What was your opinion on the Martinsville race, and what's your idea going into Phoenix?
I don't know. I ran a great 152 laps. I mean, it was really easy though. I didn't really have to do a whole bunch. Yeah, there's a couple times some of y'all scared me in the mirror, not driving in hard or nothing, but you gain a few tenths, then I'd gain a few tenths. It was a lot of back and forth, but as the race went on, it was good to see pulling away for that stage win, especially with the points being the way they were. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A little pat on the back in the middle of the race there. It made me feel like I didn't have to stress too bad on the end of the race, because it was going to be tough no matter what coming to that last restart.
Right.
When you got a buddy on the front row with you, top side's bad fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame y'all a bit. I don't know. It'd be nice to have triples. I'd like to be able to look to my right and take off just with the rest of the guys, but we push a button to look to our rights, take off, do just fine. But yeah, it is what it is, man. I was glad to fly back up to the front after the 3 wide penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will say, that was pretty clean, dude. I wish that wasn't in the book.
Mm-hmm. Right, I understand. Let me talk about this for a second. So the elephant in the room is your teammate and buddy James Silvers. He basically had himself locked in. He had a 10-point cushion going into the race over third place, which was Keith. And unfortunately, he incurred a penalty in the first 10 laps for causing a caution involving Adam. He was over driving the corner, and he ended up, hitting Adam and spun him out, which it was early in the race. And it really was, it seems like it was unnecessary for him to even run that hard at that point. What's your thoughts on that? Like, has he said anything to you about it? And, obviously we had the other issue, where he got the second caution, which technically would have, should have made him go to should have been parked as oversight on my part, which ended up being protested later on. So, and it's in the rules, so I had to enforce it, and he got last place points, which ended up knocking him out of the top 4. But obviously, honestly, I just don't know why he drove so hard so early when he didn't need to. Have any thoughts on that?
We haven't got to talk much at all since the race. I don't know if it was just lack of driving around guys in practice, just getting used to everybody's braking points early on. I don't know what it was. Usually James is a little more, he usually doesn't go on a tear that fast. I feel like, he has his runs, but it seems like he pulled the trigger early and was trying to get himself in there and make something happen too soon. That's just a bad combination.
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk to him about it. I hate that he lost his spot. Dude was sealed.
Yeah, I mean,
he was absolutely sealed in.
Realistically, you look at it, and he's, like I said, he has a 10-point cushion. All he has to do is finish halfway decent in the stage. He doesn't have to win the stage or anything. If he finishes, P5 or higher in the stage, and then finishes P5 or higher in the race, he maintains his spot. He doesn't get any penalties. So, really, you got to think, like, what was going through his mind? Was he thinking he had to run harder than what he did? Because it didn't really make sense for him to drive like that and cause an accident that early, and then all the issues that happened. It's just unfortunate. I hate for James that he wasn't able to make it, because you all are, tied in the power points. If you look at the power rankings, y'all ended up being tied with 76 power points apiece. You had more poles and top 5s and top 10s. but he had the wins, which made up most of his points. So
Feeling of what it was. I know James, he takes a lot of pride in his short track racing, and he's good at Martinsville. He's hard to race around there. Me and him, what little bit of practice we did do, it was mostly me and him just bumping each other, riding around, and he's good there. There's no doubt. If there's anything I could point the finger at, it would be him going for that win. Knowing good and well he didn't need it to advance.
Right. He just needed a decent finish, but he wanted the win. Let's shift gears just a little bit. Let's go back over and talk about the Cup Series again. So, coming into Wednesday night, Adkins, what do you think is going to be the key for your victory?
I mean, if I had to guess, I think it'll be a quick 10 lap run at the end of the race, and where you're at when that 10 lap run starts is kind of how these things tend to go. I hope it's not. I hope it's a long run, but and then GT's got speed the whole run. Swartz does too. Farmer, you never know when he's going to be fast and when he's going to be fifth or sixth. So I think it could be anybody's race. I just want to be there.
You got a 25% chance at winning the championship, right?
I got 25% chance. It's better than playing the lottery. So
right.
I just try to be there at the end and not make any dumb mistakes like speed on pit road or slide into the tire barriers getting on pit road or something stupid. So these cars are really hard to drive through the dog leg at Phoenix. The first league race I ever ran here in the Cup cars, I spun out through the dog leg and killed the wall. So try not to do that. But
takes a lap or two. Takes a lap or two for those tires to come up and those pressures to come up to really run that dog leg and not bottom out, because I feel like that's what a lot of times is that transition from the dog back to the track. It seems like that underwing catches or something maybe, and it breaks the car loose. I'm not 100% on what it is, but there's definitely something that causes that car to break loose on that transition.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than the other cars, and that I wish we could go back and do 500 laps at Martinsville because I felt like I was pretty good there.
Yeah, hey, that's a thought. That's a thought for another season championship race right there.
That's right.
That would be wild, wouldn't it?
I like it.
So, one more question for you. Your thoughts on being a rookie to the series. Technically, obviously you're not a rookie to sim racing by any means, but you're a rookie to Bluegrass. This is your first season with us, and you've shown out. You and GT both. You're both are rookies to the Cup Series, even though your I rating doesn't necessarily represent a rookie. So, what's your thoughts? Starting with Jonathan, what do you think of going into the race? How it feels being a rookie and then making the Champ 4?
Well, I didn't really know what to think. I know there were some fast guys over here, and the Cup car I had probably 2 races with before I got in this league.
Wow!
I kind of stuck to the Xfinity car, and I just didn't like the way the car drove. Still don't really like the way the car drives. But to try to get in, I knew you guys were doing some good things over here, and to try to get in the league, and know you had fast guys. I really didn't know what to expect, and really kind of struggled the first 4 or 5 races. I could show some speed and then make dumb mistakes. So I think I'm just kind of happy to be in the group, and
we're glad to have you, man.
Take that momentum on to Wednesday.
Yeah. GT, thoughts on being a rookie and making the Champ 4?
I've had a really great time in the league. I appreciate all the good racing that I've had all season. It's been fantastic. When I joined, I intentionally sought a money league because I'm always kind of chasing that next adrenaline rush in sim racing. Like when it started, I was super pumped to run rookie street stocks at USA. And then it was like, well, then I join a league and then trying to win that championship. But I care way less about the money than winning the money, than the excitement that racing for money brings.
Yeah, it's more about
that makes it worth it.
Yeah, the fact that guys have skin in the game, it brings an extra level of competition and excitement, and you get these dopamine rushes and just adrenaline rushes. And yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's a totally different experience, but overall, you feel like it's been a great experience running with us this season. And I mean, you both have made it to the championship for your first season with us. So, like I said, hats off to you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. I've had a blast. I look forward to every race, and even when it doesn't go my way, I'm just most of the time I've gotten some good racing with people throughout the time. So that's what I appreciate more than anything else.
Yeah,
Hell
same
yeah.
here. Whether racing top 3 or 10th, there's been some good competition. So that's what it's all about, is trying to find like-minded people to race with, and like you said, with a little bit of money on the line, people tend to not race like idiots. So,
Cody, you got anything you want to add? Any questions for these guys?
I know we've got one other championship 4 driver from the Cup Series with us. I know he's not a rookie, but Schwartz, when you came into the season, did you think that you would be coming into Phoenix being one of the championship 4 drivers?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely kept in touch with Bluegrass throughout the last few seasons, even when I haven't been running, and just watching like Zach Nichols, like win last or 2 seasons ago, I think it was Cedric Hunter the season before,
Yep.
and yeah, just looking at how competitive that season is, and I feel like when considering whether even to join the season, it wasn't the thought of, oh, can I win? It was just, oh, can I have the ability to even be competitive enough to have that good racing that you guys are talking about, since that's what I really enjoy. I mean, I I remember doing just an NIS at Dover recently, and I think I was battling for like 11th place, but it was like side by side, almost 3 wide on some restarts, and Dover is so easy where you can just slide up the track, get into the wall and corner exits, and we were just managing to keep it out of the wall, keep it out of each other, and just the respect shown was just so admirable. So I feel like we definitely have had some challenges on some short tracks, getting a lot of cautions, but I feel like hopefully looking towards Phoenix, recognizing a lot of the guys that aren't in the playoffs, I hope they race us hard, but also race us with respect, so that we can all really enjoy this battle to the end. But yeah, no matter how it goes, I've definitely enjoyed the season. I think I was pretty confident I'd make the playoffs at least. I mean, I knew I was pretty strong at road courses, and I was able to get some wins this season at those, so I was happy. It would have been nice if we could have had the finale at a road course, but yeah, I would say bit of definitely a surprise. I don't take making the Final Four for granted in any way whatsoever. So
Right.
definitely excited for that, and hopefully, no matter how it ends up going, hope to be able to battle with a bunch of these guys next season too.
Absolutely. Keith, I got a question for you. Are you going to run with us on Wednesday night and try to finish out this Cup season?
I don't know. That depends if I have like a baby trying to come out the womb.
Right.
I don't know. Damn, that's a long race, man. And I have not practiced with them cars there at all. And I do not want to step on it on broadcast and just have another excuse for someone to say something. So I don't know. I guess that'll be a race time decision. Like, I hopped in what was it? Dover? Was it at Dover? No, Homestead. I hopped in the practice before the race, and I was showing some really good speed, but I didn't want to mess up anything for none of the championship guys. I don't want that blamed on me, So I mean, I don't know. We might not. If I do, I'm damn sure not qualifying. I'm just going to start the back. So we'll see.
Well, I was just wondering because, like, obviously we want to put on the best possible show that we can put on with it being the championship race. I know a lot of guys are afraid to come in and ruin something or mess something up for those championship guys. But in real life, like, they don't just have the 4 guys racing. They have all 36, 40 cars out there. Do do you guys like Adam, for instance, would you rather see 20, 30 cars, or would you, I mean, how would you guys like to see it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're leading the thing, you want as few cars as possible, right? So you don't have lap traffic to deal with. But if you're second on back, then obviously the more the merrier. You can have lap traffic and things, to hold the leader up, or a lot more potential for cautions to kind of re-rack them if you're chasing a guy and you just you're not able to catch them. So I think that's a matter of position and perspective to where what's your situation. If you're leading a thing and running away, you want clean racetrack and see you later. But obviously for the league itself, outside of our own selfish wants and needs, for the league, it's always best to see as many cars on the track as possible. So
right. Cody, you got anything else you want to throw out there? And if not, we'll get this thing tidied up. We'll get switched over to picks and get everybody's thoughts on who they think is going to pull this off on Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's before we go to picks. I'll just ask for all the guys, with 10 to 5 laps to go in the race, if we have a late race caution, what's going to be your plan to try and get yourself that championship win? Are you going to move one of the other guys aggressively, or are you just kind of roll around and just try and hope for them to make a mistake? Fritz looks like he's just playing on his phone, so let's start with Fritz.
Go ahead and jump in whenever.
You want to say that again?
With 5 to 10 laps to go, if we have a rate race caution, are you going to try to aggressively move somebody for the championship, or are you just going to roll around and hope they make a mistake?
Well, I guess it depends. You got a set of tires in the bank you can come in and get?
We're just hypothetically 5 to 10 laps. There's a caution, whatever let's say you do have a set of tires. I don't know. What do you think you're going to do? Would you move somebody for the championship? Or would you just hope to pressure them and let them make a mistake?
I mean, I haven't really moved anyone to win any races in the series at all. I mean, you're going in the last corner. It's kind of the decision you make right there and then. I mean, you don't really go into something planning on moving someone to win something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've raced people hard for wins and stuff, and never really had to move anyone before. I mean, you go in the last corner. I mean, you're not going to punt the guy. You might use a bumper a little bit, loosen him up, just try to get side by side with him. But you're not going to go in there, punt him, and give him no chance to win it. Just take it from him. I mean, that's kind of not right.
No, I agree. Bradburn, you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. What would you do in that scenario? 5 to 10 laps to go. You get a late race caution. Are you moving somebody for the championship, or are you playing nice?
I'm going to embarrass them. I'm going to go way fast around them. That's what we're going to do.
No, clean. You're saying clean move, clean pass.
Yeah, I'm not good enough to move somebody with a bumper, I don't think. To be real honest with you. Especially at Phoenix. I don't know about that. It's one thing to nudge somebody going 60 mile an hour on entry at Martinsville, but flying around Phoenix, dude, you're liable to really hurt somebody's day.
Right.
I don't know. That's just not something that I'd be able to do unless it was James and it's in practice, and I'll probably punt the crap out of him. But nah, it ain't the move, man.
All right. Who wants to weigh in next?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go.
I will. You go.
Okay. So I like Radburn said, I don't think I'm good enough to bump somebody and not crash them. So I think it depends on if I'm willing to crash that guy. And the other 3 championship guys, we've all raced each other close and clean all year. I don't know that any of them have ever gotten into me or even close to hitting me. And if they did, I don't remember it. So I don't think you do that for $100,000, much less $1,000. It's just not how I am. I might drive in the corner hard and try to put them in a bad spot, but I don't think you can just move a guy out of the way. It's just not how I race. Now you can go, Hagney.
Well, I don't know. I have a different mindset with that. Obviously, I'm not going to junk nobody on purpose for sure. No, absolutely not. But we fought less than 5 laps to go, and we got $500 on the line. There's going to be some rubbing for sure. Like I just feel like if there's not rubbing, then you're not I don't feel you're a true racer. And I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win. Obviously, don't make it dirty. And, I mean, anybody would do the same thing, I feel, in their right state of mind. And I mean, I feel like if I go in there, like say for example, I tap you and you get plumb sideways, I'm not going to take the position. I'm not. I'll back out of it, and we'll either be side by side, or I'll let you go. But if I go in there and I bump you and you're good, you just got out of whack just a little bit, and you're still holding momentum, we're racing to the line. Period. Right. So, I mean, it's $500, bro. Like, I mean, it's money. We've tried to be nice. We've had 20 weeks to be nice to each other, and granted, it's not always happened that way, but for the most part, that's just how it is. Like, we've had 20 weeks to get all that other shit out of our system, and now it's come down to who wants it more. So, there again, may the best man win.
Shorts, you want to jump in next?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm echoing a bit of what everyone said, but yeah, just in terms of looking over these last few weeks, I mean, it's definitely been a long commitment for a bunch of these guys. I feel like especially through the Cup Series, particularly challenging car, a lot of shifting at a bunch of tracks, such variety in terms of super speedways and dirt tracks, and just being able to adapt to a lot of that is such a challenge. And so I feel like you just have to respect what everyone's done to get up to this point. And so, yeah, I mean, trying to think back as to whether you have to try to recognize. I remember hearing a few weeks back in the podcast, just like every week up to this point, you have to recognize that anything that someone's going to do could bite you if you get to the end of the season. But looking at the other 3 drivers in the championship 4, it's hard for me to think, like, is there anything that I feel like deserves revenge at this point? And then it's like, it's hard for me to even think of that. I mean, there's definitely been some other drivers outside that may have been the case, but and then I feel like most of the time it's just been racing incidents too. So yeah, and I feel like with this much on the line, and the fact that I feel like I don't feel like there's been nothing necessitated revenge, it's hard for me to view that as going all out and wrecking someone's day for the win there. So yeah, I'll just try my best and hope that everyone respects each other the same amount. So I mean, we've all worked this hard to get here, and I feel like we've shown respect the whole time. No reason to change that now.
Lancaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting hearing everybody's viewpoints on it. But I really think it matters what track you're at, what type of situation you're in the race. You could, if you get a guy on corner entry at a track that everybody's at least trying to be free on entry to get through the center, and you catch a guy on corner entry, then they're probably going around. You charge in the corner and door guy, or there's just so many variables, and I think that's a huge risk versus reward chance to take. I mean, obviously, we all want to win. We want to win the championship. We want to win the money. But you can go from the penthouse to the outhouse just on whether or not a guy's able to save it or not because of where you hit him or where you got into him. And if that guy goes around, then championship or not, the rules still apply, so then you're putting the championship in the race control's hands, which is not what anybody wants. So, in one respect, I look at it and I say, that's probably not the way to go, because if it doesn't work out, and it's very, very easy for it not to work out, to where you just move a guy. Your intention may be to just move the guy up the racetrack, but if whatever happens, he gets behind on his steering, or you hit him just in the wrong spot on the racetrack, and his car goes around, then you just lost yourself the championship for as much as hard as you were trying to win it. So I think I echo what Scott said a little bit, that that's a in the moment situation, situational awareness of going, well, if I get into this guy, he checks up, do I got somebody right up my rear end and they're going to pass both of us, and I gave it away that way. There's just a lot of variables to that. I will say, as an asterisk to that I don't know what Jonathan's household budget is, but if we're talking about $100,000 as opposed to $1,000, my viewpoint on it will change definitely. So it's just one of them deals. You have to wait until you're in that situation. Hopefully not in that situation. I don't think any of us want to be in that situation to have to make that decision in that moment. Obviously, we all will if we're in that spot there at the end of the race, and we'll kind of assess who you're racing, where can you get to them, and what will the residual effects of that move be, and again, hopefully we're not in that spot. So,
Adam, can I just clarify what you're saying? You're saying you don't want to be in that spot. Do you want to be last so you don't have to be battling for the win? Or are you saying you want to be in the lead a lap ahead of everyone?
No, I want to have enough room to where I don't have to worry about it. Obviously, if Keith's behind me now, I know that I'll have to pucker up a little bit there in the last corner, because I know what his plans are. But no, hopefully you got some room and checked out. And I think, Jonathan, you touched on it as well. You get some long green flag runs and be able to just check out and get going and run and hide, and that would be the ideal scenario. But if Keith and Radburn and Scott are all have a better night going than I do, then I'm going to want to bunch everybody up and do exactly what Keith was talking about.
I want to say something too on to go with that, is that, I mean, talking about variables, like, I think it also has a lot to do with how your race is going, like what you've had to deal with throughout the race. Like, if you're already irritated and you're trying to fight your way back up to the front, I mean, you've already got that mindset, like, hey, like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to win. Because I don't know, I guess you get in that mind state, like, you're already pissed off, you're just like, you're not talking, you're just like, you're racing hard, and a lot of times, obviously, when you race hard, it's a little bit too hard, and obviously mistakes happen. But if you're chill, like, if you've been running up front the whole race, I think that would change your mindset a little bit with that as well. So you can look at that from like 2 or 3 different perspectives. So there again, like you said, like, it's just all about where you at in that position. So
GT, you want to weigh in your thoughts?
I think it's probably easier to imagine if it was the other way around, how you would feel about it, and that kind of tells you whether it's okay. 10 to go, I expect to be leaned on, because I'm going to be leaning on you with 10 to go. And I don't think that's dirty, but the bump and run's tough, just with iRacing being the way it is, and if it decides to register my tap as 100 miles an hour harder than what it actually was, then I just got an EOL for nothing. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's different on the last lap. I don't know off the top of my head, what the rules are around a last lap.
Last lap, I mean, it's pretty much there's no way for a yellow to come out, and unless it's absolutely, unless it's protested, I mean, I'm going to let you guys race it out. That's how I feel. I feel like you all should race it out, and that should be the end of it. Like, now, if it's something absolutely dirty, that's a different story from my point of view. Like, I'm going to, assess that. But if it's just hard, clean racing, and, obviously we got to take into consideration iRacing physics and all that, like you said, it's not an easy spot to be put in. I'll tell you right now, it's not easy at all. But it just depends on the situation. Like I said, it's all situational. I would have to let you guys race it out, though. I feel like that's the only thing I can do is let you all race it out, and then the outcome is the outcome. I feel like Farmer. If I had to answer for Farmer, I'm just going to answer for him right now. I feel like he's going to say he's moving whoever. I don't think he's going to say he would do it like a dirty move, but I feel like Farmer's response, and this is just based on what we've seen all season, he's a very aggressive driver. I feel like he's moving somebody for that $1,000 if it comes down to it. And I think it's going to depend on iRacing physics and how hard it is and all that, et cetera, as to what the outcome is. But I feel like he's going to, if he were here with us, he would say, that's what he would do. I could be wrong, but just based on what I've seen all season, he's a very aggressive driver. So,
well, his record precedes him, right? So
yeah, his reputation does precede him.
I don't know if that's an opinion as much as it is a factual report.
I mean, if you look at the facts, they're there.
I've seen him race, and I think he'd wreck you for 27th in week 2. Because you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I mean, that's I don't want to beat up on the guy because he's not here, but at the same time, we've seen it. You guys have experienced it. You've seen it. You know how it is. So this leads me to my next question. Do you think anybody's going to pay you back? Anybody want to just jump in? Feel free.
Well, I'll say I think Keith said it, and I agree that most everybody. I can't I don't keep up with everybody's squabbles and whatnot, but I think at this point of the season, everybody has kind of dealt with the things that they want to deal with and feel like I don't know of anyone that's just held something in their back pocket until the very end. But you like to think that most people have everybody understands how each other race. You race 20 some weeks with everybody, so I feel like that most of these guys have sorted out the issues that they have. I think there's obviously still going to be people that race each other a little harder than others, and that's every week. You know what I mean? Just that's the way that things have sorted out. I will say, I'm sure the Cup Series will have this as well. That on the Xfinity side, like with James and there's other guys that are going to be mixed in there, and that can be a variable as to what's going on. And I know for me, if Keith and Radburn and Scott and those guys are right there on your fingertips to get in there and mix it up with them, and you got somebody else that's not running for the championship that's just being a gnat in your ear, then maybe you race that guy a little more aggressive or a little harder to be able to put yourself at least in the fight. So you don't expect anybody to just move over and get out of the way. But at the same time, you just hope that guys, regardless of any kind of issues that this guy has with the next guy, that they're respectful, that there's 4 guys out there that are racing for a championship, and that team stuff and all that is put behind, and everybody else that's out there, obviously they're racing for their own deal, but that they're respectful of the 4 guys that are running for a championship.
Well, and that's to add on that as well. You got you 4 that are running for the championship itself, but there's also another battle that's going to be going on throughout the field as well. The championship for the butt kicker and the $70 of Healy's money.
Mm-hmm.
In me personally being in the truck series butt kicker championship 4, the truck driver championship 4, I may give them a little bit more leniency, but when it comes down to it, end of the race, if it's one of them in front of me and I've got one of the other contenders for the butt kicker behind me, I'm going to try and do everything that I can to put another truck between us, just to kind of help me. And that's just another aspect you got to think about going into Phoenix as well, is you 4 will have your battle for the $500 in the Xfinity Series Championship. These guys are racing for a butt kicker and $70 as well.
Who wants to kind of weigh in next on their thoughts about potential payback? Anybody worried about anything, or have anybody that they think might be coming back? I mean, we've got Silvers is obviously, I think he's going to be somebody that's going to be trying to run up front. He's got something to prove possibly. Is anybody kind of worried about any kickback from anything?
I'll mention something. I don't want to bring it up because unfortunately it happens to be with the driver of one of the final four, which I didn't even recall until now. But I don't even think this was caught in the broadcast because there was some technical issues. But at the Roval, I did have a small encounter with Farmer. I think there was a small contact in the infield, and I wasn't really sure about how he felt since he never messaged me about it. But I felt it was a bit of a
You're gonna
racing
find
incident.
out.
I don't think I want to find out because if he says he's pissed off, then there's nothing I can really say to him to make him fix it until the race. So I'm just gonna try to hide as many cars between us, or at best, maybe he's calmed down from it, and I mean,
Maybe he
in the
don't even
end,
remember. He may not even remember.
yeah.
He
So
remembers.
He probably
Well,
does.
he does now.
Remember now.
He definitely does now. So
just want to say, Farmer, it was totally unintentional, and luckily we both, in that incident, there was no contact with the wall. Actually, I think it was just like a 2x from both of us. We just both lost control, and I think we were both able to continue. So it wasn't race ending for either one of us. So it should be minor. So yeah, take that as you will. Yeah.
Well, Farmer has a penalty coming into next week. Also, he has to start at the rear, no qualifying. So he's going to be coming through the field. We've seen him do it before. It's not his first time, having been on no qualifying for a race. So we typically when he is on no qualifying, he charges pretty hard to the front. So I'm sure he'll make his way up there. Go ahead.
Well, to hit on that goes back to what I said earlier, depending on how your race goes, because there again, I had to do that same thing last season, in the trucks. And I was just driving my ass off, and I was trying to do whatever I had to do to get to the front and put myself in a position to win. So I know he's going to have that mindset. And there again, if it comes down to it, I know Farmer and I know what he'll do. So
yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, fellas.
I just want to add one thing, which is if he does feel the need for payback, I'll be willing to give him everything that he wants in terms of fighting for the hard charger. I'll give him everything. If he wants to go for that, I won't fight him for it. So he can he can do everything.
He won't be able to get the hard charger of that race because he won't be qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I get it, I'll give him the prize. How's that sound? Okay, Farmer, you hear this? I'm giving you hard charger if I win it. So
$10 not to wreck him, basically, is what he's saying. So, all right, let's wrap it up a little bit here. Well, one more thing is, have you guys kept up with the truck series much? Those guys seem to watch the 2 upper series quite a bit, and they were talking about it the other night when we did the truck podcast. They did their picks, so I want to try to get everybody's pick for the truck series on who you guys think is going to win that one. Who wants to start us off there?
I'll go, and I'm going with my boy Peyton. That's just all there is to it. He puts in the work. He has been probably the most consistent guy all season, and like I said, I seen his lap times earlier, and after short runs and long runs, and I think he is definitely going to be one to beat. It's going to be hard to beat them other 3 since they're all on the same team, and I know Jonah has to start in the back as well. So I just told Peyton, man, just you drive smart, dude, and that's your race to lose. So
yeah. Well, unfortunately, I do have a bit of news, breaking news. Sean Kaiser is stuck in Dover due to the rain. It's unlikely that he'll make it back in time. It's a 6-hour drive, he said. So he and Brian Terry both are stuck in Dover. So Brian won't be there to race Cody for the butt kicker tomorrow night. He'll be racing with, who is it, David Brackett, and
I've got Brackett and Ron. So
Brackett and
we'll have
Ron Moore. So
inter team battle for the trucks.
Yeah, and so you're one of your championship 4 in the truck won't be there. So, Scott, you want to give us your pick for trucks?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Keith. I'm going with Peyton. I mean, he's been good all season. He's consistent. He's fast. the few truck races I've watched, he's been right up front racing there, and a couple
Mhm.
ones I have watched, he's won. So I gotta go with him.
Bradburn, you still there?
I'm still here.
You want to give us your pick on trucks, bud?
Who was the other driver that wasn't Peyton? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Jonah Colbert and
Jonah
Barrett
and
Morton.
Barrett.
Colbert is who I was thinking of. I feel like Colbert's been fast. He's been up there a lot. He's got a good shot at it. What I have been keeping up with the trucks, so that's going to be my pick.
Adkins?
I'm gonna have to go with Peyton too. I know he picked me, which I probably am not gonna like him for, but he raced with us a lot early on in the season, and I know he's got some speed. He was kind of where I was chasing at the beginning. It was like if I could be as fast as him, I'd be good, even in the Cup car. So I know he's got some speed, and hopefully he can put it all together and win the thing. So
Schwartz?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to say someone else, but I'm looking at the stats, and I know no one likes to hear the stats because everyone's saying this is a one-off, and I understand that. But looking at looking at New Hampshire and Gateway, I feel like both of those similar tracks. The average finish of all the drivers, except for Payne Hubbard, were all outside the top 15. Payne had an average finish of 3rd at those two tracks. So I think, sure, it's a different track, but I feel like his skill sets at those types of tracks, I feel like he's a really strong favorite, so I have to go with him.
Adam?
Yeah, so I'm just sitting here trying to look and see who all's in it because I honestly don't.
You got
don't
Jonah Colbert, Barrett Morton, and Peyton Hubbard, and Kaiser. Like I said, Sean Kaiser. He's not. I don't think he'll make it back in time. At least that's what he said. So he was your 4th guy, but more than likely he won't be there. But so if you go off power rankings, Jonah and Peyton are the 2 top guys. Jonah starts with a penalty. Will it affect him? I don't know, because Keith had the same issue last year and he still won the damn thing. So it's,
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Peyton. I mean, I was in a session with him earlier, and he, obviously there was only one truck in there, but just the fact that he was in there, right, and he's practicing, and I've heard his name a lot come up throughout this season, and obviously I feel like with it being a full race, starting in the back is not near as much of a penalty as it may have been earlier in the year or in the season. So that shouldn't be a major deal at all, other than making sure you don't get caught up in somebody else's mess coming through the field. So yeah, I'll go with Peyton and yeah. For lack of better knowledge.
GT.
I like Jonah's resume over the season a little bit better. I think he's won at some grittier tracks. I mean, they're the clear, Jonah and Peyton are the clear 1 and 2, but I think if I had to pick one, it's Jonah.
All right. So
well, now, Jason, do you want to change your pick knowing that Kaiser won't be there from when we did the truck podcast?
Yeah. So this is a tough one because I feel like Peyton's got a really good shot at this race, but Colbert has been the guy to beat all season on wins, right? He's looking to tie Keith's record for wins in the season, and I think Jonah's probably going to come out and do that. So, who did you go with, Cody? I forgot.
I went with Jonah to win the championship, but it was going to be a non-playoff driver that actually won the race.
I think it's going to be Jonah winning the race. I don't think anybody else is going to win the race. I think he'll figure out how to get to the front. I don't think there'll be I don't think we'll have more than 20 trucks. I hope we will, but I don't think we will. So it won't be that difficult for him to get to the front before the stage. He'll get to the front at the stage. They'll reset, and then the real race will begin. And I think he'll do what he's been doing all season. So it's tough to beat the guy. Just simple as that. All right, so that brings us around to Xfinity. We're going to start at the top with Adam now. Who are you going with to win this championship?
I'm gonna have to get out of here.
All right, Burn, you want to give us your Xfinity pick real quick before you head out and your Cup pick?
I'll give you I'm rolling GT with the Cup.
Yep.
I think GT's got it in the bag just from what little bit we've talked through the Cornerstone Discord, putting all my faith in the hands of GT, and Xfinity is going to be Scott Fritz.
And 4. All right.
For no reason whatsoever.
All right. Well, be
Just
safe.
let it roll, man.
Safe travels, my friend. Glad we could have you.
Talking to you guys as always. We'll catch up here in a day or two.
All right. We'll see you, Radburn.
See you guys.
All right. So let's do this. All right. He is clear. Adam, who are you going with? You going to pick yourself? You want to pick somebody else? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think on the Xfinity side, I feel like a politician going in the voting booth, right? You got to vote for yourself,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna pick myself, and hopefully that works out. Honestly, like I said, we've said it a bunch of times now. This is a really strong group of guys. Everybody that's in the Final Four is fast and has been fast every week, and so to me, it's who doesn't make a mistake and who who puts the work in and has a good clean race and can put a complete race together. But if I had to pick somebody, obviously I'm going to pick myself on the Xfinity side.
Yep.
On the Cup side, I'm kind of conflicted. My buddy Kinder's had some run-ins with GT there, and so that steers me away from GT. But I got a buddy of mine that I work with that owns Glory Pole, and Glory Pole's on the side of GT's car, and he speaks very highly of him. So, again, the same thing. It's a strong field of guys, and I think any one of those guys has a shot at it. I would agree that Farmer's been hit and miss this season, and probably questionable on some of his decision making and things like that. And so, Jonathan's been fast and races smart, and GT does as well most of the time. So I think out of raw speed and put a whole race together, I'll go with JT.
GT. All right. Cody, did we do Xfinity and Cup for ourselves the other night? I can't remember.
I believe we did, but for the life of me, I cannot remember.
Nah, I don't either. We'll just abstain and allow these guys to give their picks. GT, Xfinity, and Cup picks.
Does Xfinity do 100% fuel, 100%?
Yeah, everything will be same. It'll be. Let me give you the numbers real quick. Xfinity runs 200 laps on Tuesday night, so they're 100% fuel, 100% length.
I gotta go Radburn.
Radburn. All right, and what about for the Cup? You want to pick yourself?
If I can get some good green flag runs, I would confidently bet on myself to get a caution with 10 to go, and who's in the right spot that's anybody's race then. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to not be confident in myself, but this kind of racing, the longer green flag runs tend to favor my skill set, I think. So
yeah. You've talked about it all season. You've mentioned to me several times you prefer the full length, full fuel and long races. That's more your bread and butter. And you've talked to me about switching, in future seasons about going to the 100% fuel, obviously. So I know that you like it. So it's pretty. Yeah, I feel like it's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm looking forward to all season. It's been get to that full race. I mean, yeah. I think I don't know. The only gripe, I don't know, gripe's a strong word.
Right.
My only hesitancy with the fuel length is I think that the longer fuel length kind of takes away that mindset of hurry up and go. Like it takes away that short short lap speed, or I think it takes that away a little bit. It forces you to plan for the longer, but I don't know. I was more critical of it before the season, and I think I've kind of changed my mind a bit on that. But
it's not as bad as what you originally thought it would be. I mean, if I'm wrong, just tell me. But I feel like it's not nearly as bad as you thought it was going to be.
No, it's not. And my issue with it, I guess, more also is just it feels like you could play. I always call it like the tire lottery. You could. It's and I struggle with that a lot, especially with when we're at 40 car fields. It's just a natural thing that happens. It gets smaller as the season goes. Whatever.
Yep.
Everyone has that issue, but it was a lot harder then because you really just had to guess on the strategy.
Right.
It just felt like you could get lucky playing, like knowing you weren't fast enough to win, play the alternate strategy, which I guess is the purpose of it. But I just like green flag runs.
Right.
Like managing your stuff.
I think everyone does. I feel like that's what draws people to the league is, we do have long green flag runs typically. I know that early on with the 40 cars and 35 cars and such, it's changed. It changes it for the first 5 or 6 weeks. You have a caution every 25, 30 laps or something, seems like. Maybe even more. Like we were averaging a caution every 10 laps at Martinsville the other night with only 20 something cars. So it's Martinsville though. It's short track racing. It's a different thing. So
that car was twitchy too. The Cup car was. I mean, I self-spun twice. I don't know if I ever have once before that.
I don't recall any
right out from underneath me.
Yeah, it was very uncharacteristic to see your car spinning around on its own. So let's jump over to Shorts, Xfinity, and Cup picks, my man.
Well, for all those guys that were rolling their eyes, that are listening and are thinking, "Oh man, here he goes at the stats again." Well, here's your chance to finally smile, because I'm going to try to use the stats, but they're going to fail me again, because I looked back at New Hampshire and Gateway again. The winner of New Hampshire was Lancaster. The winner of Gateway was Hackney. And looking at another mile track, Shutters won. So that's 3 drivers already there. So that's
anybody's game.
Yeah, that didn't really help too much. And then Fritz got a top 15 in both, so his average is great too. So I can't even put Fritz out there. I feel like instead of averaging, I maybe have to look at momentum. Who really has the momentum? And the winner of the last race, Martinsville, was Lancaster. So I'll go with you, Lancaster. Keep that momentum up, and you're my pick. So, and for Cup, I'm gonna use some good old what do you call it? What's the Well, I guess when I was in the podcast with Charlotte Roval, I said I was going to win, and me and Alex are going to be close. I know Alex isn't in the top 4, but the fact that I picked him to win and then I won the race, I'm going to pick Huffman to win the championship and see if I win somehow. So let's go. Let's go with that superstition. There we go.
You're picking yourself, basically, is what you're getting at.
Well, I'm picking Huffman. He's going to steal the race win. And then,
Huffman's going to win race win, and you'll get. Okay. I don't know if Huffman's going to be there. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to. He said something about not being there, but I don't know. We'll see if he shows up or not. Hopefully he will finish it out with us. I want to add one quick thing is I do like to compare New Hampshire and Phoenix together. Like I feel like the guy that does well at New Hampshire is going to do well at Phoenix. And you said Lancaster won New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I feel like Adam's got a good shot at this race, but Gateway's also a comparable track. So, it's a toss up between Keith and Adam for me, because I know that they're both good at those type of tracks. And honestly, I feel like, unfortunately, Radburn last season had something happen to him early in the race, and he didn't get the race for the championship. He got taken out on like lap 2, 3, 4, 5, something super early in the race. He wasn't able to compete. And I wonder if, something like that may happen again. So I don't know. I feel like Keith and Adam have they're level headed. They use they race with caution. They err to the side of caution. So I feel like it's going to come down to one of those two guys. But Adkins, let's get your Xfinity and Cup picks, my man.
All right, so for Xfinity, I'm kind of like you. I was torn between Adam and Hackney. Hackney won Gateway, and I won Gateway, and I'd like to take some of that energy and let him win it and win. And at the same time, Adam won last week, and maybe we can both go back to back. I don't
Momentum
know. So,
is big. Momentum is key.
So I'm gonna go with Adam at risk of sounding like a Hackney fanboy. I wouldn't want to do that. So. We'll take Adam, and for the Cup Series, I really every time I've been picked in one of these things, I have had terrible luck. So I'm definitely not going to pick myself, even though Peyton's already picked me.
I think I picked you the other night, didn't I? Or did I? I can't remember.
I think that's who you picked. I think I went with Schwartz.
Yeah, I think I went with Adkins too.
Yeah, probably
I picked Adkins.
Screwed my whole race, but I'll go. I think I'll go with GT. He's been fast all year. He's been one. Yep. He's the one guy that even when I've been fast, like Homestead, I felt like I was fast, and dude blew my doors off and drove away. It's like he's the one guy that I felt like was this much better than everybody else.
Yeah, he's just that little notch, just a notch above everybody. I've seen that all season with GT. And I gotta say that's kind of how I feel also. Like deep down, I feel like that he's probably going to be the guy to get it done. But the other, like, I like to pull for not necessarily the underdog, but you've got, like I said, you had the momentum. You won the race last week. You did a fantastic job. I want to see how things turn out, and then I know that the car is. What the main reason that I didn't go with GT when I picked the other night was for the simple fact that I saw the self spins at Martinsville, and Phoenix is the same way. I feel like you can get loose off the corners pretty easily, especially off 2 and off 4. So and that transition from the dogleg to the pavement, I wonder if he drives over his head, and I know I'm speaking. You're here with us, but I'm kind of speaking indirectly to you. That's the thing is I don't know. In my heart, like I said, I feel like that you got it, but at the same time, after seeing those self spins the other night, it made me hesitant to pick. So that brings us. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I mean, a lot of that was probably I didn't consciously do this, but I was locked in. So. I'm
driving hard.
I mean, I don't know, probably subconsciously wasn't as careful as I should have been. I might not have been as aggressive, but I also played Forza for a whole week and I never played that game. It completely messed me up. So that's what I'm done with that though. So
right.
Well, that's it. Jason and I were talking up in the race control booth during the Martinsville race after your first one. I kind of said to Jason, it's like, it seems like Schwartz is in let's just go out and have some fun because you were already locked in, so you really had nothing to lose in that race.
You mean Hawkins, not Schwartz?
Yes, GT, my bad.
I mean, it wasn't my plan, but that's what I'm going to say after the fact.
And I just want to add one thing. After doing further research and not having anything to do with what Adkins said, I'm gonna pick Adkins to win. Totally nothing to do with his curse or anything like that. Just totally.
All right, so let's get Keith Xfinity and Cup. What are you thinking, buddy?
I don't want to be put on a spot like this because I'm trying to be friends with everybody.
Hey, but you've been to Hill all season. We, embrace that Hill roll, bro. You do a good job, man. Embrace it. I know you got a little crap there for a minute, but let's be realistic. Having you in the league has been it's been great for everybody. It's elevated everyone's competition. I don't, I know you and Adam had your little run in at Pocono, but he had good things to say about you just a couple weeks ago. I feel like, he said he's not had any issues with you. You've raced hard, you raced clean all season. So there's others in there that not necessarily have been as clean and good with Adam from what he was speaking. And, you were one of the guys that he did speak highly of. So, I mean, take that for what you will.
Okay.
Hey, and let's clarify that the only reason you want a Gateway is because you have my name on the side of your car.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm
but you stole my luck. You stole my luck.
Hey, someone's got to do it. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Cup. Golly, these are some hard decisions, man. Because I mean, hell, all of y'all, the top four is fast, and I know how all y'all race. Obviously, racing with y'all, for most part of the season at different tracks, and seeing where y'all excel at different different parts of the season and stuff like that. And god dang, the biggest part of me wants to go with GT just because I've been in Discord with you all season, and I know Swords. I mean, I know you're fast as well at certain tracks. Obviously road course, but and I know Atkins, man. Like, dude, you've won this 2 races I was in Discord with you, man. You was faster than I was, and I just let you go. God dang, I don't like this, bro. You know what? I'm going to pick this guy just because I'm not going to be put in this situation. I wish all y'all could win the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm going to go for the underdog, and I'm going with Farmer.
Damn. I was wondering if anybody was going to go with Farmer, but
let's go.
And like I say, and that's nothing against y'all, because I know any one of y'all 3 can win it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to clarify that. Hell, like I said, if y'all can all cross the line at the same damn time, fucking do it. But yeah. Xfinity. God damn. It's hard to pick there again anybody in the top 4. Because I don't want to be biased towards, myself, nor, Adam or Fritz, Radburn, of course. Maybe you need to tell Huffy that Radburn's a hot lap hero because he can put down a qualifying lap for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if I knew he would race the full race and not like give in to anybody, I would tell you exactly who I would pick, and that would be Alex Penn. But I know how he would race, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick someone out of the final 4, I'm going to go with Lancaster. Believe it or not, I'm not going to pick myself.
Okay, I respect that. Fritz, Xfinity and Cup picks, my man.
Yeah, for Xfinity, I mean, I can't pick myself. I mean, that's just bad luck. Yeah, I mean, everyone's been so upfront, consistent, and especially when playoffs hit, we've all been upfront, consistent, running right next to each other, and any of us can win it. But I mean, I gotta go with Adam. He's been around since season 1. He deserves it to get it done. He can get it done. He's hot right now, and I think he's gonna get it done.
All right.
And then for Cup, I think I gotta go with the guy that I was in the Final Four with him in the championship a couple seasons ago for Cup, and we were all battling 1, 2, 3, 4 the entire race, and I know he struggled there a little bit, but I don't think he's gonna let that happen again, and I think he's gonna get it done. I gotta go Schwartz for the championship with the Cup.
All right, solid picks all the way around. That's going to bring us to the conclusion of this episode, guys. Real quick, I'm going to say thank you to our sponsors. Obviously, Kinder Performance Group, doing great things out there on the karting side of racing right now. If you haven't already, make sure you check out their page, Kinder Performance Group, on Facebook. Huffman Design, Scott Fritz Designs. Obviously, Scott, you're here with us tonight. You want to tell people about your brand a little bit? Give yourself a little plug real quick.
I guess. I
You know,
guess
paint.
Scott Fritz Designs. I don't really paint much anymore. It's kind of, we're dying out. But we make some stuff when you need it. Just simple, affordable. A lot of times I'll do it for free for you if you need it. But yeah.
All right. Also, we want to thank Butt Kicker. They've been on with us since season 1. They add that extra element. If you don't know about it, check it out. Haptic feedback. It really does bring another level to the sim racing game. Allows you to feel tire and wheel slip, and you can feel the motor all up under you, and gives you that seat of the pants feeling. Red Rocket Buildings and Barbecue. Been on with us now for a couple seasons. They'll build you a building and somewhere to make some barbecue. So check those guys out as well. I think maybe next season they might be Red Rocket Adult Novelties and Barbecue. So we'll wait to see about that. But that's what I've been told. Elevated Outdoors. If you like to get high outside, check them out. So WJM Motorsports. Obviously, those guys have been doing big things. Cody, you want to tell us about WJM?
Yeah, we're a fresh new team in the iRacing scene. We're in our second season now, but even being in our second season, after our first season, we pretty much just took off. We started a reserve driver program to try and help some of the lower tier drivers who maybe needed a place to go to where they can get a little bit more help to learn racecraft and all that. But we've got that, and we're always looking for sponsors to come onto the team, just like you're looking for sponsors for the league. But the way we got it going, if we got a sponsor that comes on, they get their own truck car, or they get their own truck, and they get their own cup car, and they get their own personal driver.
Mm-hmm. So WJM doing big things. Let's I also want to do a special shout out NH Lens. Keith, tell us about NH Lens, man. You've done some pictures for us this season. Go ahead and give us a plug.
Yeah, man. Just you need some good photos. I mean, there's obviously different photographers on here and stuff like that. Took it on about a year ago, and we just got better and better. And now we're we're hooked up with like two shops, a couple painters and stuff. Just putting out some good photos of your ride on here and stuff like that. So, man, it just like Scott said, we try to do stuff affordable and sometimes even free, just to get that logo inside the car. So, man, if anybody needs anything, just hit me up or hit the Facebook page up, and we'll just try to go from there.
Really, really spectacular pictures, guys. Some of the best I've ever seen on the sim. All right, closing out. Adam Lancaster right here above me. Cody Anderson right here. GT Hawkins. John Schwartz. Jonathan Atkins. Keith Hackney. Scott Fritz. I'm Jason Collins, your HMFIC. We'll see you next time.